What's up, Canes fam? It's your boy CB, and we are back for another huddle watch along with a Miami Hurricanes commit. On today's episode, I have one of our newest commits, actual flip from Harvard, our 2024 center, 6'3", 295, an absolute bully in the trenches. My guy, Nino Francavilla. Welcome to the show, bro.
How's it
How's it
going?
going, man? How's your weekend going?
It's good. It's good. I'm excited to be on here.
Man, I'm excited to have you. We did a live stream the night that you committed because a lot of the Canes fam hadn't seen any of your tape,
Yeah.
and the consensus after play, just the comments were like, "Yo, like not just finishing blocks, but dude, he is mean, and look at him, look how he gets under somebody's pads." And then after that, it was CB, get him on, CB, you got to get him on, you got to get him on, and obviously we have a staff that covets the offensive line. Coach Mirabal, Coach Cristobal, that's what they do. That's what they're passionate about. It's not just something they say. You see Mirabal on Twitter all day breaking down film and giving little tidbits to offensive linemen. How big was that in your decision to make your move to becoming a Miami Hurricane? That passion that Mirabal and Cristobal have for the offensive line.
Yeah, like when you're talking about Coach Mirabal, when you talk about college football in general, Coach Mirabal is one of the names that always comes up. Just with the guys that he sent to the NFL, and even more recently, like Samson and Francis, getting them to kind of come to the U, just shows like kind of the respect and the resume that he has. So that obviously learning under a coach like that is you can't put a price on that. You can't quantify that.
Definitely.
It's the sky's the limit with this guy. And then with Coach Cristobal, just having having a head coach with that focuses on the offensive line, in my opinion, is the best way to run a team because the offensive line is the most important position.
100%.
Because you could have the best quarterback, you could have the best running back. Doesn't matter if your offensive line isn't good. So
If
having
he's
a
on
coach
his
that
back,
focuses on
he's
that
not
is,
dropping many dimes.
yeah. If you're getting sacked, you're not throwing passes. If there's no hole, I don't care if you're Barry Sanders, you're not making it through
It don't
nothing.
matter.
Yeah.
So for
So
you, that has to be awesome because a guy like Mirabal, like we both reiterated, he has that passion. So for we see him as a coach and we see him how he is on social media. How is Mirabal behind the camera? Is he a very like rah-rah guy, or is when he's watching film or showing you something, is he a bit more quiet and reserved?
no, he is 100% energy the entire time. I remember the day I committed, we were on like a FaceTime call, and I don't know if he was more excited than I was. Uh, he was kind of like just kind of freaking out, which obviously you'd love to see as a recruit that you're like wanted and stuff. But yeah, like if we're like texting or something and he's sending me like a drill that they did today, he'll add like exclamation points and all caps letters. Or if we're on a phone call, you can tell that the energy is like always there, which is good because you don't want a coach that kind of shows people energy and then behind the scenes is kind of like a Debbie Downer. He's pedal to the metal the entire time.
So what we see is that is 100% Mirrorball. How
That
how
is
does a
him.
man have that kind of energy 24 hours a day? Like that's
I
insane.
You gotta love what you do, I guess. So
You got him and Cristobal. They seem like we talk about it a lot on the You Heard pod. They work 25 hours a day and they're in
yeah,
25 hours in a day, but those dudes seem like they get the 25th hour out of every day. Speaking of someone who works, y'all, if y'all have not seen my boy Nino's tape, he goes to work in the middle. Before we get into this, my biggest question for you is what's more satisfying for you? A pancake on a run or when you're pass blocking and you either because there's a couple times here where you get an initial punch and then you pass off to grab an oncoming blitzer or the three technique. What's more impressive for you when you pancake somebody in the run game or when you get a good 2-for-1 in the pass game? You set up a great pocket for your quarterback and he gets to drop a dime.
I would say definitely a pancake block,
Oh
just
yeah.
because uh pass pro, although it's not passive, you're backing up, you're giving a little bit of space, and you're kind of letting them make the first move. Whereas when you get like a pancake block in the run game, it's me versus you, no
Oh
ifs, ands,
yeah.
or buts. And when you get that pancake and you flatten that moving that man from point A to point B against his will. There is nothing more satisfying than like the most satisfying part, giving him a hand and helping him back up and doing
And
him.
helping him back up. Yeah, sorry, buddy. I'm also gonna be here all day though, so we're gonna keep doing this. But also, get up, man, and
Yeah,
then give him a good pat and tell him we're probably gonna run
nice
this play
work.
again.
We'll do it again next play.
We'll do we'll do it again. And for someone who plays in the interior, to have that tenacity, to have, and also the side to side lateral quickness that you have. But this is what I mean. That lateral quickness, that explosiveness. Within a millisecond, ball is snapped, man is on the ground. Nino, that's defensive line tenacity.
Yeah,
That has it always been like that for you? Even when you first started playing ball, have you always just been really physical and loved putting people on their rear?
yeah. Like I've always said, I try to be the hammer, not the nail, when I play football.
Oh, I
Um,
love that.
and so, kind of playing both ways from when I was young, I've always had that defensive line mentality. I originally came to the States to play defensive line. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, I was committed to Harvard to play defensive line. Uh, so yeah, I guess I kind of just get that like nasty kind of mentality that the defensive line carries, and I just bring it with me to the offensive line.
And we see it here. So the reason I kept rewinding is I need y'all to see this. I need y'all to see our guy. First off, Chip, get his block, get out here on this screen and look at him find somebody. I'm going to find somebody. Somebody got punished. That athleticism, that ability to be out in space, do you attribute some of that to playing defense, playing defensive tackle, and being able to pursue and obviously go get the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I attribute some of that to the defensive line. I would say a lot of that is defensive line, and just kind of being like an athlete out there. Like just because you're heavy doesn't mean you can't be an athlete. Like so,
Yeah.
just
So,
getting out there, getting in space. Just I try to train myself like an athlete. So I play basketball, all those sports and stuff, and so
okay,
I
so the
guess that
quick
kind of
feet
comes through
makes
on the
sense
field.
now. The agility makes sense now. The basketball that makes a lot of sense. And then on a play like this, you say forget the athleticism, raw power. You just move people in the run game.
Yeah,
This
that is.
dude
Yeah,
was moved.
yeah. That's there's no way to say it. He was in fact
There's
moved.
no other way to break. There is no technical way to break this down other than Nino moved a man
Yep.
and created a run lane. I know your running back just loves running behind you.
I mean, I haven't heard any complaints yet, so I'm hoping so.
So do you
That's
feel like playing defensive tackle, playing the defensive line, and having that skill set and that mindset, does that help you on the offensive side to be able to read, diagnose, and see your keys, obviously?
yeah. So playing both ways to me is something that all kids should do at like the highest level that you possibly can. Um, just because if especially playing center defensive tackle, they are like going up against each other every play. So on defense, I know what the center's thinking, and on offense, I know what that defensive tackle's thinking. So I know if he reads run, like what his next step is. And I know if the center's coming at me, it's run on defense. So it kind of just works interchangeable, and I get to use that to my advantage.
It's almost like you have a little bit of a cheat code,
Yeah.
especially being a center because you're the second quarterback out there.
Yep.
You know, it's partially your job to make sure everyone else knows where they're supposed to be, obviously helping with blitz pickups. Can you speak to how important that is? Because I think a lot of times people overlook that when you look at an interior offensive lineman. You have to have it in between here as well, because that quarterback is relying on you. Hey, what are you seeing out there? Can you make sure the tackle knows, hey, we got to slide this protection to the left? You know, he's dealing with a bunch of other things back there. So having that second quarterback on the field at center is huge.
Yeah. If you miss a or you misalign a blitz pickup, or you miscall a double team to a backer, it could be the difference between getting that throw off for a touchdown or your quarterback being out for the season because he took a massive blindside hit. And
And
that
that's
stuff,
and
it makes a big difference in the game, because I've missed assignments all the time and stuff. Everyone does, they're human. But having the ability to kind of realize like what's going on throughout the game and try to minimize those mistakes. That's how you win football games right there. So
Two pancakes in a row. One on a young man that I think gave up, but you didn't really allow him to.
yeah,
I think he tried. I think he honestly didn't want anymore. You
yeah,
didn't allow him to. And what I love too, is you finish your blocks. Even when another great thing is you keep driving your feet. You once you get somebody's breastplate, feet start moving, and there's only one way this is going to end.
yeah,
But you finish, not just putting you on the ground. I'm gonna put this body weight on top of you too, just in case you got a high motor there. You're hiding behind me. You're not getting up. I
yeah.
love that about your game.
I'm a strong believer in the fact that like anyone can make a play at any time, and so if I pancake someone and I don't have another responsibility on the field, I don't know that that guy's not going to get up and make a shoestring tackle or clog up a lane for the running back or something like that. So I make sure that until the whistle is over, I am on top of you, and my assignment is it's finished. There's no way around it. I am not getting I'm not making a mistake by getting up and trying to be a superhero. I'm going to handle my assignment, and that's the way this play's going.
Can you speak to your offensive line coach? Because that sounds like great coaching. That sounds like a coach that stresses finish your blocks, play to the whistle. Shout out your offensive line coach.
Yeah, so I've obviously been at two different schools. I've had a couple of really good offensive line coaches. My coach up in Canada, he was a big believer in just finishing your blocks. Like you got to play not just to the whistle, but a second after the whistle.
Oh, I
So
love that.
nothing dirty, but you're making sure that that play is happening. And then obviously our offensive line coach at Loomis. You look at the offensive linemen that Loomis has produced in the last couple of years: Michigan, Bama, UConn, Miami. Like those are some big schools right there. And I think a big tribute to that is the fact that you focus on the little things, because if you throw a 60-yard pass for a touchdown, great, but it's probably the 5-yard run up the middle that set up that pass that's going to win you the game. And it's the
That
little things.
mentality too. I love that because you take care of the little things and the big picture will take care of itself, right? It's like you
Exactly.
build a puzzle, you don't start with grabbing a bunch of pieces and seeing how they fit. It's one piece at a time.
Yep.
And the more you stay consistent creating this puzzle, it starts to take shape. And then the other pieces are easier to now put in. Now it's
Yep.
easier to do play action because we've got those 3-yard runs, those 4-yard runs, those 6-yard runs. We're ahead of the chains. It makes everything else easier. So I love that your coach stresses do the little things right, and the 60-yard touchdown will come, but it
Mm-hmm.
will come because we've been grinding all game. We've been setting it up all game. How big is film watch a part of your preparation? We see you have a full command of this offense and this offensive line. You guys do a lot too. They have you pull. They have you guys what we call a liberty block, a 2-on-1 or a 2, and then get to the second level. They have you out in space. How much is film watching a part of your game and getting you prepared for Fridays or Saturdays?
I think film is the greatest tool that any college, high school, NFL player, pee wee, whatever level you are, can have. Um, because if you can watch not only your opponent and see kind of what their tendencies are, but yourself, and see, oh, okay, I'm really good in this aspect, and oh, I missed 2 gallop blocks in this practice. Maybe that's something you spend a little bit more time on. And I think just watching practice, not only on the Fridays when you got the headphones on late at night and you're hyped for the game, but watching the film on a Tuesday after you do calculus because you messed up a little bit that practice, and just watching. And I'm not saying that I watch hundreds of hours of film, but I would probably be watching 2 to 3, maybe 4 hours of film a week between
You
our
love
practice
that,
film, our game film, especially later on in the season when you have more game film to watch.
of
And
course.
I think it's the greatest tool, and I think it's one of the most underused tools that guys watch highlights, they don't watch film.
Yeah, they don't
And
watch actual film.
yeah, because nobody's making every play, nobody's doing all that. You got to watch when you mess up, and you got to try to correct that.
So to that knowing that you have to get that competitive edge is really what films give you. It gives you a
Yeah.
competitive edge. one thing I always like to talk about with varsity athletes is, when did the game slow down for you? So we've all had our very first varsity game when we realized, okay, this is a lot faster than, because, and they tell you that when you get to high school, like varsity football is faster. And then I remember the very first time I got out there, I was thinking, oh, this is no joke. This is a lot faster. But the more you get comfortable, the more you study, the more you know tendencies, and you're more comfortable with your game. The game does slow down for you. When do you feel like the game started to slow down for you?
Um, so obviously playing. Oh, what happened? Sorry. Obviously playing in Canada, we play with a yard off the football. I don't know if you knew that. So playing
That's interesting. I
center,
didn't know that.
yeah. So playing center, there's a yard between the ball and the defensive tackle. And so when I got to the States, that yard got taken away real quick.
That fascinating. Talk to us of that. Honestly, Nino, I don't know if people understand how big of a deal that is. That is fascinating. So when you came here, were you thinking, "Hey, he's offsides. Like, I need back back him
Well,
up."
I had watched college football before and NFL football, so I knew that it was
So you
coming.
knew
But it's a difference between watching and being like, "Oh, that guy's right on the ball,"
he's
versus
right
having your
here.
hand on the ball and feeling the guy's breath.
That's
That is a
crazy.
completely different thing, and that took a little bit of adjusting. So I would say the game kind of slowed down for me all throughout high school when I was in Canada, just because the
Okay.
competition there and stuff isn't as great as it is in the States. So I never was like outmatched, let's say. But then coming to the States and having that yard taken away, especially playing center, it took a lot of practices and probably even a couple games into my junior year to realize, like, okay, like now we're kind of getting it. And then
That's
it's like anything.
interesting.
Once you get it and you go. And it's
And it just becomes muscle memory at that point, and
yeah,
you just do what you do, obviously.
yeah.
So that transition, was there anything else about the style of play that's different from, I don't want to say our brand of football. Football is football. But is there anything else that was kind of drastically different from you coming over to the States and playing football?
Yeah. Three downs. There's three downs
it's
in
so
Canadian
it's so
football.
interesting to hear this.
There's three downs. So they teach you in Canadian high schools how you would play in the CFL. They don't teach you to the NFL. They teach you how you would play in the CFL.
That makes
In the
sense.
CFL, there's three downs. So even just something as simple as calling like a inside run play on first down, that doesn't happen a lot in Canadian football because if it's 2nd and 8, it's really 3rd and 8,
It's really
and
third
now
and eight.
you're in a tough spot. So that was a big difference for me. Just kind of being like, oh, like we're gonna run it on first down. Okay,
We
like
got
weird decision,
oh,
but
why? Yeah, you're
yeah,
like, why?
like that seems kind of silly, but just like from a play calling aspect, like that was one. Um, and then the fact that the field is significantly smaller, so it's shorter and it's narrower, or more narrow, I should say. That was a big difference because especially playing defense, you didn't have to move as
Ah,
much. Like
there's
if
not
you
a lot
went
of
wide,
space.
because there's an extra guy in Canadian football too. So
So more people, smaller field
no, more people on a bigger field.
on a big. That's
So
so
American
that does
football
that
is
extra
less
person
people on a
usually play
smaller
on the
field.
defensive line, or do they have that person in the back end?
Pardon?
Is the extra guy usually on the defensive line, or do they usually have him on the back end?
Um, it really depends on the defensive coordinator. I would say you won't see a lot of 5-man fronts in Canadian football. It's usually a 3 or a 4-man, and so that extra guy might be a roaming backer, or
That's
playing
tough
two
to deal
safety
with,
is
though.
very, very common in Canadian football.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's
it's
that's got
stuff
to
like
be
that,
hard to deal
but
with.
it makes it's little things that if you play in the States and you play high level in the States, you don't have to think about. But making that transition, it was something that I just had to go through it a little bit to make it click.
There's another transition you're about to make. Obviously, you've verbally committed to the University of Miami. Are you ready for the heat down there? Every commit I've had on here, I asked Vincent Shavers, how is it? He was like, bro, it's hot. As Dalen Russell, he was like, bro, it's hot. I had Jose Leon, who he plays at Columbus. I said, how is it? He was like, it's hot, bro. How is your experience with your visit down there in the heat, and how do you think that's going to be you transitioning to playing in South Florida?
Well, I actually went down to Miami when I went to the camp. I was on vacation. And so the way I'm thinking about it is if I'm playing football where I go on vacation, it doesn't matter.
Right?
I would take
Okay.
I would take 110 scorching heat than the 3 feet of snow in December. So
That's what that's what I'm talking about.
I the heat I prefer. I don't want to be driving in 3 feet of snow or going to class in 2.5 feet when it's -20 outside. Like that does not sound fun to me.
So there were days when you probably had to shovel snow in the morning, drive in 2 or 3 foot of snow, then you got school and practice that day.
Yeah, so if you look at my sophomore tape, which was my last year in Canada, there are a ton of games where there is just snow all over the floor. And before games, I remember one game we shoveled just the lines because the
What?
snow, like people didn't clean the field. So as a team, we grabbed shovels and we shoveled just the lines on the field so that we could get like the down markers and stuff. Not even the hashes. I'm talking like major, like 10-yard increments.
That is insane.
Yeah,
So
I think this is the tape, 2019. Yeah.
how is it you have to love it. I would imagine being in the trenches. It's snow games are probably a little bit fun for you. For skill guys, they're not fun at all.
Yeah, no, they hate it. It is horrid for them. Look, that's the clip right there. I'm
Y'all,
playing tackle and it is horrid. We had a
it
running
is
back that ran a 4.4
literally
and in the snow he was not running a 4.4. That is just
holy cow. So
yeah,
what is it
like
like playing, like, other than it being ridiculously cold, what what is it like being in the trenches playing when it's -3 like this?
so I would say it's great until you get that face full of snow on a pancake block and you don't have a visor on because obviously you're an offensive lineman. You don't have that kind of drip, and so your entire face is now just covered in snow. Um, yeah, like it's an experience. I'll tell you that it's definitely an
Hey,
experience.
somebody in the equipment staff. Hey, he's a cane now. Y'all get my boy a visor, okay? He can have drip now. Get my I seen Mountain go with a visor, okay? Y'all get my boy a visor. That's fascinating though, Nino. I think when you come from different climates, I grew up in Texas. I played football here in Texas. It never really occurred to me that the grounds crew might not even have the snow cleared, or it may snow again after the grounds crew comes out there. And now we got our our star center out here with a shovel trying to make sure we can see the 50.
Yeah,
That is
it,
fascinating. And
I'll never
then
forget
you
that
got to
game.
play ball.
Yeah, and especially playing center, snapping a wet snowy football. It is not fun. I can tell you that.
I'm guessing y'all ran the ball every play. We're just running the ball.
Yeah,
That 4-4 running back, you're busy all day, buddy.
you. It was literally this is Nino. He's gonna block somebody. Follow him.
Follow Nino.
On
The
one,
play
go.
is
And that was the play.
everyone comes in, follow Nino on one. The receivers, what are we doing? And man, on one, like
Yeah.
you line up. Okay, that's we need you to line up. You are
Make sure
not
you're on
here
side and
today.
then act pretty. That's all you got to do.
We need you to act pretty. Put your sleeve on. You have a visor, so
Yeah.
shine that thing. That's interesting because obviously being in Miami, you're going to play in the rain, but having to snap a wet ball, a wet cold ball all game, that that is something. And then one thing I wanted to ask, obviously, before we let you go, because being a center, you hear Jason Kelsey and guys talk about the quarterback center exchange and being having a guy in the gun. It looks like a lot of when you played your sophomore year was a lot of under center. Is there a talk to me about that transition when you now have to have a quarterback back in the gun, that quarterback center exchange? I think people underrate that a bit.
Yeah. So I've been lucky. I've played with the same quarterback when I've been in the States for the last 2 years, and I'll be playing with him again this upcoming fall. So we've kind of built that relationship up. But yeah, when I was playing in Canada, it was all under center, and then when I got to the States, it's all shotgun.
It's all gun.
So that wasn't really a problem because I had trained center before. So like, you have to know how to shotgun snap if you're gonna play center. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a relationship that needs to be had. Um, just from something as slight as the way that they say the cadence. Each quarterback says
Very
it a different
important.
way at a different speed with a different tone, and something as small as that might just throw you off. So getting that repetition down, like before practices, I'm practicing snaps. If we got a break in practice, I'm practicing snaps because that's just something that you just got to keep working on. And having that
Till it
relationship with the
becomes
quarterback
second
is very
nature.
important.
Shout out your quarterback. So that's pretty cool. You guys have gotten to play together, obviously, for this many years. So now I would imagine you guys think alike now, and
Yeah.
he doesn't even need to tell you this backer's coming. You probably know he can see it. You can see it. Give a shout out to your quarterback and some of the other guys you're going to war with this year.
Yeah, I mean, quarterback Dante Reno, he's a
Let's
four-star
go.
committed to South Carolina.
Yeah.
He's a dog. He's got a cannon. Uh, I've played with like Olas Alanin. He was a four-star. He's at Bama. Um, I've played with like Alessandro Lorenzetti. He's a three-star at Michigan. Brady Wavern. He's a three-star at UConn. Like I've played with some dogs. So the Smith twins both committed to Michigan this year, class of 2024's defensive ends.
Let's
Those
go.
guys got me good. So
And iron sharpens iron, right? So you're
that's
you're in
that's
practice
it.
against all these guys, and it's obviously you. I look, we just watched, so we know Nino not giving nobody nothing in practice, and we
Yeah.
know clearly they don't want to give up anything as well. So when you're going against these dogs in practice, Friday comes around, Nino getting off the bus like, okay, I need to hit somebody else. I have to hit somebody else. I'm tired of punishing my own guys and being punished by my own guys. So y'all probably come off the bus Friday like y'all have no idea. Like y'all don't know. We've been beating up each other all week. You guys have no idea what we're about to do to y'all.
It's just like a bottled anger because you're going up against two four-star edges all week in practice who are giving you hell, and then you get to the game and it's like just some random bozo, and you're like, oh, they've been sharpening me up all week.
For
Now
you.
you just get to feel this anger that I just can't unleash on them anymore.
Uh,
So good luck.
Silent apology to anyone that has to line up in front of Nino. He practices against monsters. So they're you guys are getting the wrath from Monday through Thursday.
You can
He's
blame
not
them.
sorry. Blame them. Yeah, he's not sorry. Blame them. But that you love to see that. You even hear Cristobal talking about that with Green Tree. Green Tree traditionally, you hear all the old Canes saying Green Tree was harder than the game. So when it came to the games, they couldn't wait to hit somebody else because it was like they made it so hard at Green Tree that when it was Saturday, it was Friday, they were dying to hit somebody else. They
Yeah.
wanted to see another jersey. Like, please, somebody else show up because I'm tired of hitting him and being hit by him.
Yeah.
That competitiveness, that is what builds championship culture. It's not just having stars. It's not just what you can do on a stat sheet. It's what you just said. Monday through Thursday, I'm going up against dogs, and I can't give an inch because they're not going to give an inch. And that is what creates championship culture. I say it a lot. You can't have championship culture without championship young men. Not necessarily always their ratings. It's what's in between here and what's in here.
Yeah.
And what y'all just heard from our future center is that man is a dog and he goes against him every day. And you can see the smile on his face when he talks about his four-star guys. He can't wait to get back out there and go against them tomorrow. I love that, bro. I wanted to extend the congratulations. We are thrilled to have you as a Cane. Obviously, Mirabal went out and got another monster in the trenches, like our guy David Franklin likes to say, a trench bully. Congratulations, man. We are ecstatic to see you at Green Tree. I just wanted to say congratulations, bro.
Thank you. And this kind of goes out to all the Canes fans out there. I am so excited to be a part of this family. I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to bring Miami back to old Miami and start putting some respect on that U. So I'm ready to go, man.
Let's go. Like, share, and subscribe. Nino, tell them where they can follow you on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm going to link all of his socials in the description and his huddle. Don't just watch his huddle here. Go watch his huddle on your own too. Trust me when I tell you, if you're just feeling bad and you want to see someone get punished, throw on Nino's tape because there is a slew of defensive linemen on this tape that just got absolutely destroyed. So if you need a pick me up, put on Nino's tape. It'll pick you up.
Yeah, it's a great watch. Would
It's a
100%
great
recommend.
watch. Follow him. What are your socials? Let them know where you at on Twitter and Instagram, bro.
Yeah, so my Instagram is just Nino Francavilla. It's my first and last name. And then my Twitter is Nino Francavilla 1. It's very basic.
Go follow him right now. I'm going to link those in the description. Thank you so much for coming on, bro. I am excited about your future as a Cane. Also, during your senior year, if they stream any of your games, send me the links. I'll send them out. And so all the Canes fam can pull up and we can watch you punish people live because we're going to want to see this.
For sure. For sure.
Like, share, and subscribe. Go follow Nino right now. Click off the video. Go follow our boy. Go Canes.
Let's go.